In fact, you and I should go on strike.
Wow! You and me go on strike?
Hello there, and welcome to something of a little bit of a different piece. So over in America there is a push for a general strike, which over here is basically what you hear complained about when teachers do it.
I can't understand where the teachers are coming from, but they need to come up with another solution other than shutting the school.
It's a big shame, who misses out? It's the kids at the end of the day. But the teachers, they deserve decent pay. They do a serious job. It's a very difficult job.
Ministers are calling the strike action futile and politically motivated.
Small editor's note, I have just seen this clip and just wanted to say, really, a strike is politically motivated? No shit, Good Morning Britain. But not a peep when the fire brigade or the police do it. Except this time, it's for everybody. It's not just for select groups. And, well, I thought it was a good idea for us Brits to follow America into something good for once, not something insane like privatised healthcare or a 20-year war laced with war crimes. So what are the demands? We have a $20 an hour minimum wage, which with the current exchange rate looks like about £14.50 an hour, but with the increase to all of our tax, because Boris is an arse, we'll round it up to 20 quid as well. I mean, why not? A UBI of £2,000 a month, or in the UK, an easier access social safety net, and or a UBI of about 1,500 a month. I'll say that because obviously we do have our benefit system already. Obviously we can argue the toss later on about whether or not I'm right about that, but at the very least we can kind of like look at that and start something. This relieves the stress of bills, flows more cash into the economy, and uses our taxes for something other than upping the living standards of the Tory government and or the royal family. And with the mishandling of the pandemic to 3 lockdowns and a potential 4th coming soon, we will have to make this retroactive to March 2020, as obviously this will help those who try to start businesses, those working towards self-employment, so many people who tried to get on their feet straight after the lockdowns and just were screwed over. In the US, they are also pushing for a universal healthcare, which obviously in the UK we could push for a lot more of a nationalisation of our health services and expanding to include dental care as well as mental health care and LGBT care, and increasing our public spending towards that and staffing needs. That would then reduce a lot of our wait periods, especially since it is over 12 months to wait for mental health care in the UK. I know that because I was on that waiting list, and each lockdown it's made it longer and longer and longer. It's insane. Also, I would say as well, we should probably put a system together in which we have a sign out of organ donation. I feel like that's an important point because a lot of the times when you're asked about whether or not you'll do organ donation and that kind of thing is usually to do with when you're purchasing another ID, which obviously is a serious problem because obviously there are a number of people who are financially not in a position where they can do that. And also if you have a sign out system rather than a sign in, we will just have more people in that boat, which will then mean that we can access more healthcare for more people. In the US, they are looking at a Green New Deal, and I believe also we should try and push for one of these to be drawn up in the UK, because, I mean, at the very least, I can't think of one off the top of my head. And this means we need to stop the increased deals with fossil fuel agencies around the globe, definitely getting worse because of Brexit, and especially when they are friends with our environmental secretary, which has happened more times than we're proud of. We need to decrease the militarisation of our police forces and decreasing funding to them and our border agencies and strategies. We've seen far too much of children who have drowned on our beaches to stop illegal immigration. And before the pandemic, there was a time where I remember going into Durham and seeing police walking around with assault rifles on their person almost every Saturday. We've also seen police attend far-right rallies to defend basically neo-Nazis from those who they espouse hate to, not to keep them from instigating a fight, but to stop those who would retaliate. We've also seen this in the actions that led to the London riots, when Met Police opened fire on an unarmed black man, and more recently when they arrived in force at the vigil of Sarah Everard. There is also a claim for a codifying of Roe v. Wade, which is a massive point in Woke Fatty's video demands, and I think we need to go further than that, ensuring bodily choice related changes to an individual become more streamlined, more legally protected, and less stigmatised in our society. I know this is obviously not something that needs to be worked from absolute ground zero level, because even parts of Ireland have now accessed and allowed these protections to some degree. Amnesty and expungement of cannabis charges and its decriminalisation in general is another on the list, and I agree wholeheartedly. I'm not a weed person myself, but we need to allow people the decision to take these substances, especially when scientifically there is a lot more danger in drink, tobacco and caffeine, and yet all of those are not only legalised but commodified and celebrated in the culture we have accrued. Job and housing rights should be given to all. Unions need to be supported and given a bigger stake in all workplaces. Every person in this country should be given a home, and if we can find a way to house people in a pandemic using hotels and other means, we can do it again, but we can make it permanent. It can't be that hard. An office block not being used, help the government turn it into social housing, and then you can literally be wealthy and a good guy. Nationalisation of university education. This means that anyone can go to university no matter what and see if they can get a degree. There is no cost. If we are allowing employers to see a degree as a requirement for entry-level jobs, why don't we make it this accessible? Because obviously otherwise we've created a massive demand for jobs that people just can't reach, and they're more likely to be the people who would do them and probably enjoy them. And especially if we look at the projected statistics by the Parliamentary Common Library, which states that the government expects that 25% of current full-time undergraduates who take out loans will repay them in full. That means 75% of £17 billion each year will never be fully repaid to its lenders. This is literally a means of helping capitalists not get screwed over by their own capitalist ideas. A wealth tax. So obviously this is kind of self-explanatory, and if you've looked at any of my other videos, probably you could have guessed was coming. But the idea of all this spending has to come from somewhere. But obviously, I could sound like, as Theresa May would say, looking for
a magic money tree.
But we'll do a little bit of maths, shall we? So, Amazon has made about £38 billion in Europe over the last year and has paid not a single euro in tax. Now, I can't get exactly the figures on how much they made in the UK in the last year, but we can have a look at how much profits it made. So, their profits increased by £9.5 billion, and that would take, according to gov.uk and the tax bracket for an individual, not a corporation, a level at 45%, which would mean a total of £4.275 billion extra a year in public spending, literally just from Amazon. Now, that doesn't mean that it's exactly right, that I've done the numbers exactly, but if we look at it, that's seriously still a lot of money that we can easily acquire if we literally just hold their feet to the fire like they need. The deprivatisation and nationalisation of banks. This is a really simple one, mainly because the 2008 financial crash that we experienced, and we are still experiencing, was through the high-risk, high-greed of private banking firms. This idea is just remove that. Has the UK Post Office banking service faced a massive economic downturn? No, because it wasn't allowed to pull off some of the stuff that things in these private banks are allowed to do. So Also, a lot of the austerity measures we still live under are from Tory governments trying to get back the money they suggested be used to bail out failing banks that were then not nationalised. So, wouldn't it be nicer if I get an unscheduled overdraft text and I know that the £5 or whatever I lose goes straight to upkeep buses in the country or something instead of into a banking CEO's pocket? It seems a lot nicer. Data privacy laws need to be codified and protected. This is a simple thing, really, that I will get into on another occasions, but governments across the globe use this. If you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear or keep private, or won't somebody think of the children? But this is nothing but a con. Basically, the idea of data privacy would help with avoiding cookies in browsers, stopping holiday websites, etc., automatically and artificially inflating the price because you've looked at it previously, or would avoid targeted adverts being based on conversations you've had near your phone or anything electronic in your house. This general strike is set to start on October the 15th, 2021, and that may just be perfect for us, especially with a prospective new lockdown coming that Boris is worried about. But if you want to know more, please check out the General Strike and October Strike tags, as well as octoberstrike.com. Also, if you want to have a look at how labour strikes and disease like 2021 have gone in the past, please look at the TikTok linked below, or look up the Peasants' Revolt, because we are not serfs, we are comrades, and we are people, and we can do this. Hey, thanks for watching that video. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to support me and the projects that I'm doing here, and the footage of the little dog in the background, please do pop a little bit down in the Patreon below and just check out the links at the bottom there. Give it a subscribe, give it a like, do whatever you feel is right. But yeah, because then I can do more of this and I can see what part of this you really like. So, yep, thanks. Catch you later.